What's up, my loves and fellow creatives? Hope everyone is doing well and starting this week off with a good start. I know your girl's tired. Erica, I see you here. I know you tired. But the grind keeps going. So sometimes we need that little reminder that when stuff is going, it's usually a good thing. It's when everything stops that you got something to be worried about. What's up, 50 plus and Belisa? Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started on this one. I'm going to pick one of the beautiful photos from the submission tonight so that we can do this demonstration, but also just show you how you can flip things. I'm going to do my best to remember to show you all variations of a template or some of the techniques that we're doing, so that we don't always feel like what we see is what we have to structure your design around. So we're going to do a little something on this one. Oh, look. I have some gorgeous images. Look at Jada. Her pretty self and all these amazing images. Y'all are so gorgeous. But I'm going to tell you, I saw one and it just melted my heart. So Darren Liza Riley. This one looks so good. It looks like a stock image and I love that. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this, and it just speaks black love to me. So I got a little happy seeing it, and we're gonna switch this whole feel of the template around just by changing the context of it. So let's go ahead without further ado and make that happen. I'm gonna call this one photo. Probably be photo 2. Alright, and just to let y'all know, that's the photo I'm talking about right there. So gorgeous. I'm going to go ahead and close out my Facebook because it eats up a lot of data, and I'm going to go to remove BG and see if that helps me to remove the photo here. I'll remove the background from the photo here, and it looks like it did a great job. I'm happy with that. Now, because this was a smaller image, it's not going to upload full resolution, but you shouldn't be printing out this picture because it's not going to be for your content. But it gives a representation of what you could create. Alright, so I'm saving this now. The very first thing that we're going to do is right click on the existing photo, and I'm going to turn it off. Now, as a matter of fact, I'm going to drag it above the photo with the wings. So this will just be a photo without wings. So we'll go over to the browser here. I can drag it right from the browser, hover over my Photoshop artboard, and there we have it. And doesn't this just look like really dreamy? Just makes you feel like you're just getting that hug, you're sharing that hug there. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start turning off some of the elements, like the photo with the wings. If this was a remembrance shirt, then we would keep those. I'm going to turn off the gate here, and even the clouds. Let's do something different. Although you could keep the clouds there because you can be like, you know, on cloud 9. I'm going to do a little something different because I want you to know that when you download a template and you're working on a template, you can very well reimagine it. Okay, so I'm going to give you some options here. So I'm going to call this group right here the clouds and stairs. We'll turn that off. And these are some foreground clouds. I'm going to turn those off. So now we just end up with a single color, and I think I'm going to add a color to the very background here. As a matter of fact, I'll make it a smart color. So one of our smart colors here, I'll do the gradient. You know how I feel about gradients, and if you don't know, now you know. Gradients are like one of my favorite things in the world, especially in design. Especially when somebody is asking me for a specific color and I can play with gradients, and somewhere in there is the color that they wanted, even if they don't know that. Alright, and because I want this color to clip within my clipping mask here, I am going to put it inside of my background there. We have a little option here to also intensify the color. And I believe all I need back here is a solid color, and that solid color gray could delineate how my image recolors. Yeah, that's how we're going to do that. So if I choose a darker color theory, I should get darker. And then a lighter color, I should get more pastel. So if I choose a black that is about 50% black, yeah, that's pretty much it. Between the two of those, that's 50% black, and I can turn off my intensity because that is my 50% black. It's going to give me pretty much those true representation of those colors. And then if I choose to intensify, all this is are levels that I have adjusted to make the image a little bit darker. And of course, you'll be able to adjust those as well. Just want you to know that they are there. Alright, and then I can go ahead and just right click on my doves, and this is the sort of thing that I want you all to practice, is the easiest and most efficient way to edit. And instead of me looking through the layers, I'm going to right click and choose the name of the image. And then I love doing these lives with you all because it can help me better name my files and work through them. And y'all let me know if you can hear me, because I think my mic is on, but if you can't hear me, let me know. Designs by K. Renee, you want me to go all the way to print? This particular computer is not connected to the printer, but I can take you through the print steps if you like. And you can just imagine it actually printing out my printer when I go through the steps, okay? I can definitely do that. And I'm going to show you all at the end of this how I go from the 13 by 19 to the all over. Every now and then I will in the classes do a conversion where we're either going from all over to 13 by 19 or vice versa, from 13 by 19 to all over, depending on how complex the class is and if I can fit it within that 2-hour window. So so we probably will have our opportunity to do that, and I'm going to see tonight, depending on how long it takes me to get through this tonight. Okay, awesome. Y'all can hear me? Kind-hearted, go ahead, like close out of YouTube and come back, because it might be a glitch or something. I'm sorry that you're experiencing that. All right, so let's go ahead and do Control-0 so I can zoom in here. And obviously I'm going to change the text here too, but what I'm going to do, because the in love and memory is probably a standard expression, I want you to know that you can hold on to those. So I'm going to keep my in love and memory here. I have it in a little folder in my main text folder. I'm going to right click and duplicate that group. And now I'll put, we can put always and forever. We can just put a hashtag black love. Like, give me some ideas. What can I put for this one? Because I need y'all's input sometimes. I know it's a little delay here too. So while I'm waiting on input for what we're going to change the text to, I'm going to go ahead and show you all changing out the colors of the flowers, which this has been made a smart color template. So I've been getting requests for some to you know, kind of remake some of the older templates so that they are smart colors. enabled, and that is just a feature that I believe that I invented. So somebody could prove me wrong, and then we can debate it on YouTube if y'all want. But the smart colors is basically a concept where I want you all to be able to come into a template and edit it within 10 minutes, where the majority of the time that it takes to edit is doing your recoloring of your image, right? So my goal was to find a way that we can recolor this image with very minimal steps, thus coming up with the smart color. So the smart color does involve a smart object. The color is the smart object. So you have to know a little bit about how to handle these, and it's not hard at all. It's not as complicated as it might sound. It's actually pretty darn simple. We're just going to double click on the smart object itself. You don't have to try to hit that little corner down there. You're just going to make sure that you double click on this thumbnail. Now if your thumbnails are really hard to see and you need some help, come up here to your hamburger menu, and let's go to the panel options and just make sure that you have the thumbnail size selected here, and hit OK. Right, now I'll show you if I were to make those smaller, maybe they look a little like this. And when you see them like that, sometimes you'll be able to see more of the layers at once, but you can't really see what's on the layer. That's sometimes very difficult when you're looking for specific graphics. So I like to make them large. That's just a little tip there. Alright, so now that it's large enough for me to see it, I can double click on the smart color. Normally if I have any smart colors or objects, I like to put them to the very top and make them invisible, so you're not really seeing these. Okay? These are just kind of placeholders. But the idea of a smart object is that no matter how many times you see it, it's the same object, just a different instance of that object. So let's go ahead and double click here. I have some gradients that I kind of already made up just playing with. So let's go ahead and make a new gradient. Like I said, you know how I love gradients. And let's go with, I'm going to find some inspirational. I think gold and black and or black, red, and green. So we can go with those if we're going to do black love. I see somebody did that as a suggestion. So let's do it. Let's do double click on the color here on the gradient. We'll click one more time and we're going to make our own gradient. We double click here on the color stop. Now you will have to keep in mind that it is not necessarily true that because you see black that it will turn colors black. It really depends on the blend mode that you select. I'm going to choose a red here, and I like a good old standout red, not like a orangey red. And then you see here I have this exclamation point. That means that, and if I click on it, it will shift that color to a the next best color that the computer can guess. But that exclamation point means that I'm probably out of color gamut for my printer. And if you see that exclamation point, that means you're not going to get the color that you see, so you might as well go ahead and shift it to something that is more attainable. Alright, so I have my black, red, and then the last one, I'll double click on this one. Let's go with the green, and I'm just making these colors up. However, if you had colors that you could look up the hex code for, or that you can pick from a particular image, you can bring it in here and pick those colors. And because my red and green are touching, I think I might bring my black in between it. When colors like that are, they're kind of more complementary, they don't really go well next to one another. You see, you kind of get a brown in between it. What I like to do is separate them with either white or black. And I did not mean to create that color stop, so I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to push the color more towards the center, so I end up with a little concentrated area of black here. Then we'll just see how that looks. Alright, so we made a gradient here. Let's go ahead and hit yes. And this will update my smart object. Let's give it a little time here. All right, and you see where black is? It's not exactly showing black. And that is because on our background, we have it on color. So basically, it's just recoloring the colors that are existing in there. And here is where I was explaining to you that we have an option to kind of intensify the colors here. But you have a further option if I duplicate my smart color layer. It's still on color, so it's just recoloring there. And also notice that it recolored the text, which is really cool too. But on my color, it's just a little watered down for me. If I want it to be more bold, then I can actually choose a blend option like multiply, but then just turn down the opacity, and it gives me a little bit more of a kick of color. I can play with turning off my slate mask, which my slate mask also kind of gives it this nice grunge look, so you don't even have to worry about putting a pattern or anything behind there. It already has this naturally, you know, artistic looking background just because of the effects that we have there. But I can also choose different blend modes to see if I get a different desired effect. That's color burn, linear burn. Let's see. I think I'm going to stick with the multiply, and then I'm going to play with this color intensity. So that's one thing that we are going to play with in class. I don't want y'all to be afraid of these type of concepts. This is just an adjustment layer, and this one is your levels here. But I want you to get used to playing with your shadows, which this is the black one. The gray one are your midtones, so see how I can move it around and get more intense colors. And then of course the white one is the highlights, and you can play with moving these around in order to get a desired color or effect here. And another thing, let me go ahead and add a white layer to the background, because when you see that checkerboard in the back, you kind of don't know what to think. And I'm going to drag it to the back here, and actually I'm going to drag it completely out of that folder. And then to make sure that I'm not in the folder, I have to be on the double lines there. There we go. Alright, so now I don't see the checkerboard, I can see the white, and that makes me see things a little more clearly there. Well, let's go back to our intensity. If I want that red to be a little darker, and I want some of that black to kind of pop through in the middle there, then I can change these accordingly. Alright, so what's also supposed to happen, now these roses are supposed to change color, so let me make sure that I have those on. Oh no, I forgot. Okay, so I have my gradient. So my gradient is going to recolor my background, but I want it to be able to recolor the flowers as independent colors, right? So what I can do is, let me delete that one there. I'm going to take a version of this gradient here and duplicate it. Control T. Let's make it a normal color because I want to be able to see everything. Let's do Control T. Zoom out here. And I'm going to make it small. And this is going to become kind of like a color palette for me. So I am going to leave this on top until I don't need it, so that I can pick from this color palette. So once I establish my gradient, my overall color, then I'm going to come in and recolor based on these 3 gradient colors I have selected here. Alright, so let's go ahead and change color number 2, which is the purple here. Let's make it red. So the way I do that is I have to select red. So what I'm going to do is use my color picker. I'm going to pick the color red, and it's there, it saves it right there in my foreground. So then when I double click on Smart Color 2, instead of remembering the hex code or copying the hex code, if I duplicate this layer, and of course I'm doing this fast, But this is for the people who, you know, won't necessarily need the class and just want a refresher, and to demonstrate for you all who want to know what we're going to do in class. But keep in mind that in class we're walking through these steps very slowly, and I'm making sure that no creative is left behind. Alright, so let's go ahead and click here. You see that it saved that color in my foreground, so it held that color that I selected. All I have to do is click on this color. You see how before I even click on it, it turns to a color picker? That means that it's going to use the color here to recolor that swatch. Alright, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and say close out and say yes, I want to save the changes, and let's watch the image update. And I have some tricks here, because depending on the color that you choose, the intensity that you want that color to appear, you may have to deal with the levels of the underlying image, meaning that the darkness, the lightness, and the midtones, you will have to play with those in order to achieve a realistic looking recolor effect. Okay, so that's what we're going to play with in class as well. Alright, so second color is the pink, so I'll do that. I'll make that the green. So before we do that, let's go ahead and use our color picker. Let's pick the green. It's already stored there, so we can check. And let's double click on the thumbnail for Smart Color 3. We can duplicate it, turn off the old one, double click, and let's choose our swatch color or our foreground color. Now I want you to notice something here. I do see that exclamation point. If I click on this box, it's going to shift my color, and it shifted it very minimally, but at least it gives me a more realistic and attainable color. Alright, so that's 2, and let's go in for 3. So 3 we said was black. I'm pretty much sure that I just chose a 0, 0, 0, 0, however many zeros is 6 zeros, that's black. And then white is 6 F's, as in Frank. So if you ever want to know what pure white is and pure black is with the RGB profile, it's all zeros is black, and then all F's is white. Alright, so I'm just going to change this one because I kind of already have that color down there. I'm just giving you some options and suggestions there. So I think I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do black and see how it recolors. Black is a hard color to recolor because if you have black too dark, sometimes you won't see the variations in the image underneath. But it looks like it colored it just fine. I'm going to play with the levels here. So let's go to my Smart Colors. And I have it like an overall. This actually, it says lighten all, so I'm going to create a variation here to darken all. And this is just like an overall. If you have really like all pastel colors or all very, very rich colors, you can do this. Let me create a clipping mask because that took all my clipping mask out. I want to clip it back down. So this time, instead of lighten all, I'm going to call this one deepen all. And let's play with our midtones. You see how I'm able to get a little bit deeper color here? And I'm looking at that black, because if I let it get too dark, then the black will not actually recolor black. It will just look all pitch black, and then it won't give me any shadows. So I'm just playing with that. So that is an option to deepen. That will be your option to lighten if you want pastel colors. And we're going to see when that's applicable. Let's see here. So yeah, I have this one on here as well to lighten. Let's say I just want to lighten one color. Then I can go here and lighten just the black. I can go here and lighten just the red or just the green. And the alternate is true too. I can duplicate this lighten layer and then I can make it opposite. let's say for the black, that black is still not black enough for me. Like I want it to look really rich, but I don't want to intensify my reds and my greens. So then I'm going to go to just the black layer, or the layer that is right underneath the black layer, and I'm going to duplicate that layer. And let me go ahead and re-clip everything back down. And all these layers are important the way that they're set up. They're clipped down because I want, when you recolor something, I want you to clip it to the image so that you're not coloring outside the lines. That's what these clipping masks are really for. Alright, so I have a layer mask here for the black, so that should work out well for me. Now this one said lighten, so when I go over here to my levels, I'm going to make sure that I choose a setting that darkens a little bit. Now if you get too extreme, you see how we're breaking these lines up here, then it starts to look kind of cartoony. And this is actually how some people create cartoon effects. But in this case, we wanted to kind of look more like it recolors rather than creates these very harsh shadows and highlights, which is what you get with cartoons. You see the harsh shadows and highlights, and it makes it look cartoony. Alright, and then it looks like I deepened all, but I don't want to deepen my gold, so I am going to select the part that has the gold selected here, and I'm going to delete that layer mask, and then I'm going to create a layer mask that is everything but what I have selected. So when I go to layer mask, instead of hiding the selection, I'm going to reveal the selection. Oops, I lied. Instead of revealing the selection, I'm going to hide the selection. Where are we? Layer mask. There we go. So I wanted to hide that selection. So it's the inverse of this one, if you look. I wanted to keep this color to where you can make it gold, you can make it silver, you can make it your red metallic, you can make it green metallic. If I choose a white, it's going to become, if I choose white or black, it's going to become silver. And then if I choose that yellow, it'll be gold. So that's in there for you. And this is about, you know, learning your concepts of recoloring, these blend modes, and just being able to create something great with minimal effort. Alright, and this class is for tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a 2-hour class. I'm making it so that classes are only 2 hours now, so we don't overwhelm you. But you will be able to do everything that I'm doing in class tomorrow within that 2-hour period, okay? Alright, so let's say that I'm not going to put in love and memory at all. And maybe I'm not even going to put text up top. I'll put the black love down here at the bottom. So I am going to turn off my in love and memory so I can make this photo huge because it's just so beautiful. Alright, and then I'm doing a little bit different, you know, orientation than before. So I'm making sure that the text is kind of grounding it to the bottom. I have my image up top. And here is my little swatch. I will turn that off before I print. However, I kind of keep it on so that I can show you that this is helpful when you are designing, okay? Samantha, great question. How do you join the class? As soon as I'm done with this edit, I will show you the Academy. And if E's here, Erica Kane, if you can post the link for the Academy, I will have this one uploaded tonight. And it tells you everything that you're going to need for class. I'm going to tell you right now that you just need one photo and to have your color scheme in mind. Okay, that's it. So all you need to come to class with is, of course, you have to download the file. You have to install, I believe there are 2 fonts to install for this one. And I will tell you the name of the fonts. And I usually give you the link of the fonts, so you have to download them yourself. And then once you have the file downloaded, the fonts downloaded, you have your file is unzipped and you put your photo into that folder, then you're ready for class. Okay, and I suggest that you put the folder, and I request that you put the folder on your desktop, so when we have class, you're not bumping around looking for where your photo is, where your class folder is, any of that stuff. We're just ready to work. Okay, so you see I kind of got black roses and I got green, and you probably have never really seen stuff with the green and red and black roses. So if we wanted to create that, we can create it. So now we're not waiting on stock images to tell us exactly, or to give us exactly what we want to see. As a matter of fact, let me test my theory. Let's search for green, red, and black roses. And there may be something out there. But if you didn't know how to color change, then you'd be looking for that the combination of roses like everywhere that you went. And already it looks like I'm not finding any images that would fit what I wanted it to. And I think I was right, but there's an image right there with, but it doesn't have green roses. So you get the idea. We don't have to wait for someone to make a stock image for us. With Photoshop, you create the images, or at least you are able to modify them to fit your purpose. So with the smart colors, I want us to have that freedom, and I want us to show that that we can create our own themes. All right, so let's say for this text here, I want to change this to, we said black love, right? So let's go ahead, and this folder right here says name, but I'm going to duplicate it. So I'm going to leave it as the name. And maybe you could do, you know, the Smiths established this date of the other. And I'm not sure, I just lost the name of the, was it Devin? I'm trying to think of the name, and it would be pretty amazing if I remember that name. Because that's not how my brain usually works. So I think it might have been Devin that that uploaded this image. So if you happen to be here, let me know if I'm messing your name up, and then also let me know if you want to put anything specific as far as text here, because it would be pretty much your file. So you'll get a chance to get this, well, you will have this file for free, and hopefully you choose to use it and get great with Photoshop. Alright, so I duplicated the name folder. I'm going to rename this, and I'm just going to call it Black Love, because that's what we are going to rename these pieces. Of course, it didn't change my text because I have to go in here and change each line of text. So I'm going to put, top line is going to be black, double click, and I'm just going to type the word black, B-L-A-C-K, and then the last one, where it says last name, if I double click on the T, it highlights the whole line of text, and I can type the word love. Darren, that's what it was. Well, I was pretty darn close, see. Alright, so let's say, oh yeah, that's cute, but I mean, maybe it's not taking up the space that I want it to take up. Then I can move these elements around, but what I'm going to do is just kind of make my text a little bit larger, because I want the roses to stay in place for the initial image and for this one. So I'm designing with you in mind, so I don't move anything around too drastically. So, or I could do black here and then do love beside it. I can even make this rotated a little bit, and then I could do love all caps. I do want you to see here that I need to Control T, and also if I wanted my recoloring, my smart color here, I need to pull it up and make it fit so that it's not hanging off, which it just was doing. And we will do that in class. I know I did that very quickly. We will do that in class, because more than likely when you move text around, you're going to see, oh no, all of a sudden your smart color, you know, leaves something cut off. It is very easy to fix. So, and if I want to do love in all caps, instead of me erasing it and typing in all caps, I'm going to come over here to my all caps tool and see if I like it. Oh yeah, I like it in all caps. And see how my colors kind of cut off there? I'm going to fix that, no worries. Alright, and then of course I'll need to change my smart color here. I'll do Control T to transform, And I'm going to stretch it out, make sure it fits here. And not everybody is crazy about the gradients, and if they aren't, then they're probably not my favorites. Because y'all are probably the ones that complain about the gradients, but it's okay. If you don't want to use gradients, you can definitely do a solid color. As a matter of fact, I can select this gradient and it doesn't, I can select this smart color, which is a gradient, and I can put a solid color there instead. It's no worries. Matter of fact, I'll put a solid color in there for y'all who just really can't stand my guts when it comes to these gradients. It's not many of you, but it's probably a couple sprinkled amongst us. So let me go ahead, I'm going to update this and save it so you can see it can be a solid color. And Victoria, I am going to be doing some affinity. It's actually going to be for the kids and youth version of the academy, but I am working on that. My goal was to get that started this summer. It looks like it probably won't be until school starts, so just because I have some major projects that have popped up and have to be completed. But we will do affinity. It's going to be, and I say it's for kids, but it just means it's for very beginners, because I will be teaching at a level that kids can design their own designs. They can use the templates. They can create fashions and lines that they can promote at school and on their social media and that sort of thing. So hopefully they will learn entrepreneurship very early on. All right, so that's recoloring with the solid color, and of course it looks nice, but I'm going to go back to my gradient. All right, so now I am going to save a version of this just as a PNG, 13 by 19 PNG, and then I'm going to do one more color change and then show you how it can go from the 13 by 19 to the all over. And then let's just say maybe even my word black. If I wanted the word black to not be colored with the smart color here, then I can just go to my effects and I can recolor it. Or you see right here we have a color overlay option. I can just recolor it with any color I want. I can even choose one of the solid colors from my little gradient here. Boom. Or you can go with the default color of the text, which is whatever you have selected here for the color of the text. So I can double click here and I can change the text that way. It looks a little more flat, but if you really didn't want to have the gradient applied, then you have that option. All right, so let me turn off this little swatch here, and I'm going to turn off the background, the white background. So for the date here, I'm going to duplicate this and I'm going to put established so that we just get an idea it can be used for something else. Established 2009 or something like that. And it looked kind of young, like maybe not 2009, so maybe 2018, and that way it looks like, you know, young love. There you go. All right, so that established is really popular when you're doing things that show, you know, marriage, commitment, even brands. When brands are established, it's a good idea to put the date on there just to show longevity. I'm working on it, Victoria. And here's another thing. What I tell people, if you're doing affinity, go ahead and do the Photoshop classes and the Photoshop Academy, because the only reason why I know affinity is because I know Photoshop. And I think Photoshop helps you to gain confidence in absolutely any design program. And you'll be able to do some of these advanced techniques, and eventually you'll even know how to convert the files to Affinity. If you really wanted to do the same exact thing and just do it in Affinity, you would have that ability. So my suggestion is get into designing. Yes, I understand there's an additional cost, and I'm not just assuming that everybody can make that work financially, but if you don't do anything with Photoshop but use it for managing your colors with sublimation, it is worth $10 a month, just because it can help manage your colors and make your life easier. So when I tell y'all that I set up my color profile for my printer one time, and I set up my settings for Photoshop the same way every single time, I get consistent results, reliable results. And if I don't get a color right, it's usually because it has one of those exclamation points, and it's letting you know that no software is going to help you in that case, because your printer just cannot reach that level of the color gamut. Okay, so if nothing else, I tell you all to really look out for using Photoshop, if it's for nothing else but color management. So just think about that. I know it's a lot, especially when you're talking about changing and switching programs and learning something new, but I guarantee you, if you learn Photoshop, especially the way that we teach it, so that you're absolutely ready to use it with every project, I think you will be surprised at how well you start picking up on some of these advanced techniques. All right. So I have this one. I'm going to go ahead and do a little save as and save it. I forgot it's got to save as a copy now. I'm going to save it as a PNG. And then I'm going to do one more colorway change. Y'all give me an idea of something I could use to change the colorway here. And I'm trying to even look for a different, you know what, I'll just use a different photo. So 2 people will get this template tonight for free. Let me go on to my Facebook, my face of the book, my book of the face. And hopefully everything still remains online. Y'all know how Facebook likes to kick us off. And let's see, I see Sweet 16, that would be a different type of thing. Oh, y'all got all of these gorgeous photos. And Sherry, this is so beautiful. Oh, y'all are gonna make me do another wedding one. Oh, okay, so I think I'm gonna do another wedding one. I see another beautiful image here. All right, so I just want y'all to get used to not, like, even if the reason why we have a lot of remembrance templates is because that's one of our #1 requested type of template. But if you see it as a remembrance template, I'm just trying to give you all some real deal ways that you can change these things out. So I'm going to go to this photo now, and I'm going to bring in our photo number 3. So I'm going to turn this one off. And it's very important to have this photo selected, because if I don't have this photo selected, my image could pop up somewhere random, and I want it to pop up right above the photo that I have selected. So when I drag it over from my browser, drop it here, you know what I was supposed to do? Oh, I'm not going to do that. This one has a beautiful background, right? So not every time, and this is a great representation of how I would do this. Not every single time you're going to want to cut out your images, okay? So this is great that it has its own background. Now what I will do is, to ensure that the background works here, I'm going to drop it into, well, clip it to my background. So I'm going to drag it behind my smart color, and then I'm going to bring it in front of it. And see how it cropped to the extent of my little jagged edge here. And then I see I have some color down here. So let's go ahead and start making this work. And I love that the car is right there. The building is in the image. Like, it seems like this is kind of meant to be here. And then what I'm going to do for the text is make a variation of the text. So remember how I said we had like in love and memory? I'm going to duplicate that. And then this one I will put like always and forever. Something that just allows me to use two different texts here. So always, and then I'll put my ampersand sign. Hopefully this font has an ampersand sign, and forever. And then we keep it simple. You can still use your, oops, something came unclipped here. What did I do? I must have moved something. Just a moment, y'all. There we go. Yeah, I'm mistakenly dragged one of my smart color layers. Alright, so let's type forever. Hopefully I don't have any misspellings there. And I'm looking at the colors here. It looks like maybe gray. I'm not sure if they use any like colors in the wedding. I was trying to look at the little boutonniere. Oh, I see the flower arrangement here. Let's pick some flowers from the flower arrangement. So from our bouquet. As a matter of fact, I can take this bouquet, a little section of it. I'm going to use my little lasso tool. Control C, Control V. That's going to copy paste. And I'm going to bring this all the way to the top. Because now instead of the traditional color palette, I'm going to play with this. And it's very, very pixelated, I know. But I can see here that we have like some pinks, some maybe that's a little sage green, some ivory, some blush, and I'm not sure if that's like a red, but I'm going to go with the blush colors, maybe the pink and the sage green, and hope that, well, this isn't necessarily the final artwork, so I'm sure whoever gets this template, this is Miss Ana Cleo. Let me know if I'm saying your name incorrectly. Rivera. Alright, so hopefully this will be something that you can play with and put onto your substrates. Alright, so let's go ahead and bring back up my color palette here. And when I double click for my gradient, I'm not going to do a gradient for the background, and you'll see why. I'm going to kind of make it look like the image kind of continues and just does a solid color in the background. So if you've ever just wanted a solid color, not a gradient, this will be that time. So I will double click on my gradient because my text is still going to be gradient. And I'm going to take this little image here of the flowers and drag it onto my gradient surface. And this is just so that I can pick colors. Alright, so I am going to duplicate this layer, turn off the previous layer, and then let's go to this gradient and start changing out some of these colors. See a little pink there, that blush, and then I see a little bit of peach there. I'm going to grab that, and I see a little bit of sage, so maybe instead of that dark green, kind of pick up some of that sage green. So I have a blush, a peach, and a sage. And I don't know if those are the colors, but here we can make anything we want happen in real life. And even if you wanted to put the ivory in there to break up between the two colors here, I'm going to put an extra color stop and change it and make it our little ivory color. Alright, so we just made a color palette. I'm going to come down here and hit new just so that I have that to save for a future reference. And then I can get rid of my color reference because it wasn't that great of a reference anyway. And the more data you have in these smart objects, the bigger your file is. So let's update that and say yes, see what things look like. and give it a little moment for our project to do its thing. Alright, so you can see it recolored the always and forever, and let me rename this as always and forever. So I know what is there, and then I can Control T, make that bigger. Maybe it's a little too big. Alright, so we have that variation. Now it's time to change the color of the flowers. Now I have my colors that I picked from this image, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And let's go to our smart color here, that little copy. And I'm going to go ahead and change smart color 2, 3, and 4 to match this new color scheme. So let's go to smart color 2. Well, first let's pick our color. Let's go ahead and choose the blush color. With my color picker, I shall choose the blush. Double click on smart color 2, right click, duplicate that layer. Double click on the swatch here. And what did I do? I did a copy and paste, but I was supposed to just come over here and click this swatch. Alright, so I got my foreground swatch clicked. It changed everything accordingly. I hit yes to update and save. And boom. Now you see it recolored those, but remember we changed them darker. So before I keep going, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the deepen all. You see that difference that makes? Same colors, just you're playing with these levels, you're practicing using these advanced techniques in a way that is very much simplified. So now you're going to understand, oh, if I wanted a deep purple, I may need to play with the levels in order to get a deep purple. When you recolor stuff, you're not always going to see the color that you actually want. Alright, so I think what I'll do for these right here, so where the green is, I'm actually going to change that to the peach color. So let's go ahead and select the peach color with the color picker here. That peach is right about there. And let's double click on the green. Right click, duplicate layer, and let's make it peach now. And I'm just going to click on my foreground color, and it selected the previous selected peach. There we go. And then the sage color. Now, I don't have to do sage in the flower because I can probably go more with the ivory color for the flower because it already has green in the foliage. So let's do with that, and I can show you how to change this green to a different color. I think that'll be interesting. So let's go ahead and let's pick our ivory color. And the ivory is kind of mixed with the other colors. I want a little bit warmer than cooler colors, so I picked a little bit higher into the peach rather than sink down to that green part of the ivory. Alright, so whatever it is selected. Let's go to smart color 4, duplicate the layer, turn off the existing black, double click, and choose our foreground color, which that gives us a nice ivory color there. Okay, and of course it looks a little dark, right? So let's figure out for the ivory color what we might need to do. Now this one, we may need to turn on the lighten layer. So I see my ivory, I'm looking right underneath it. Here we go, I'm going to go ahead and delete that one. So this one is my lighten there. Oh, I think what did it do? I deleted. I'm going to delete this whole layer right here. I don't think this is the one that we needed. Nope, it's not. Delete that one. There we go. So see that lighten now just made that color look more realistic for that particular layer. This is just very common concepts of recoloring, but presented in a way that allows you to play with it and not get like super overwhelmed. So I have my color scheme now. I really like this color scheme, but I feel like the green kind of stands out a little too much. So let me show you how we could recolor that green. let's just do another. So this is going to be your metallic color. Let's go ahead and I'm going to duplicate this layer. And of course now I have to go back and clip everything else. Let's right click, create that clipping mask. So if you ever break your chain of the clipping mask, which is what these little downward arrows do, just go ahead and select all the things that unclipped, then right click and then create a clipping mask. Right now it says release, but that's only because they are clipped at this point. Alright, so I'm going to delete that layer mask. I'm going to turn off my gold for a second, and I'm going to turn this to the sage green. Boom, I picked my little sage green there. Do y'all see how we just totally changed this whole thing? So the sage green, if you look now, the sage green recolored the foliage here. So if I want my gold back, my gold is still there, and my green is now a more subdued kind of sage green. So I'm going to rename this as the leaves colors. And now y'all have a really complicated, simple to change approach here. Now let's go ahead and turn on our white background. If you had an image cut out here, then of course you would have this multicolor background. So what I want to do is kind of show you the best of both worlds. Here is your photo. If we were cutting it out, I'm going to show you don't always have to do contour cuts, right? I'm going to turn on a layer mask here, and I'm going to grab my brush tool. This is what I do all the time when I'm doing on-demand kind of printing. Like if somebody, I'm at an event, somebody wants a photo thrown onto my template, then I just come with one template and I do little stuff like this. I just kind of boop, 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 just kind of clean up around it. Get a big old brush and kind of just fade around the image. And then if you fade too much, it's cool. You can, let's say you took off a little too much of somebody's head right there. You can come back with white, since black conceals and white reveals. I can come back with the white now. Hit my switcheroo button down here. My white is in the foreground. I'll make my brush smaller. And then I'll come back with the white and add the parts that might look a little drab if it's missing. So I didn't spend any time like click, click, click cutting around here. I have a contour cut image. I also, let me turn that intensity down. Let me see what I want to add here. And it still looks really good even without a background at all. And here I like my color intensity, I just think it's a little too intense. So maybe I would go and play with the levels. That's it. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn off my little swatch here. I think we have a look. So one look, we're gonna go ahead and export this as a or save as a PNG. So I have to turn off the white here in order for it to officially be a PNG. Save as. Of course, save as a copy with the new Photoshop. I don't know when I'm going to get used to this. Alright, so now we're going to do PNG. If I can find it while I'm talking. There we go. So that'll be variation number 3. And then of course, if I don't want this cut out, I can right click, I can disable my layer mask. And here I have my photo as the main image. But I do feel like the photo kind of still cuts off abruptly. And normally what I would do here is create a new color. Or let's do a gradient. Boom, new gradient. And I'm going to choose the color stop to be whatever the color is here at the bottom of the image. So that sand color will be my color. And then I'm just going to control T. I'm going to push this up so that it fades a little bit better. And honestly, I think the better thing to do here is to create a solid color of this sand color, I can control it a little bit better if I fade off the photo. So I'm going to group the photo just so I can create a different type of fade off. So this one, instead of fading around the whole image, I'm going to get it where I want it. And then nope, I can't, because I'm going to have to delete this layer mask. Yeah, I think so. Dang, I don't want to have to delete it though. Let me delete this group though. Just the group only. Because I want this to clip down to my path. And I would just have to do it on top of this. So then that way I can preserve it. So I'll have to delete this layer mask. And it was quick what I showed you. You can always come back and do it. Let me create a new layer mask. And then I'm going to fade off the bottom here. Now of course I have white selected. In order to hide it, I need black selected. And then I'm just coming in here. And you don't see it, but I hate to see hard lines in an image. And I kind of faded off that logo a little bit too. But that looks a little more chic. And I think it works quite a bit better. Alright, so I believe that is it for the full demo. So now I have the whole entire picture in there. It looks blown out up here because there is no image there is no data right here. It's just plain white. But I believe it still looks good. If you wanted to change the photo around, absolutely could. If you wanted to see more of that layer mask at the top, then I would fade off the top of the image here. If you wanted to see a little color up there for the frame. Alright, I think that is it. Ooh, I like that. So I added another slate mask copy to that background there, and it just made it even more artistic there. So I think I like that, and then you'll be able to turn it off. Turn it off, turn it on. That's good. Alright, so let's go ahead. And of course, if you wanted to make this background any other color, you absolutely could. I'm just kind of choosing colors from the text here. I kind of like it with the contrast color. I thought I wanted to continue the sand, but I like the pink that it pulls in. And of course I'm playing with changing my intensity. Oh, you know what? I think something's not changing right now. Let me save. And make sure that I save this as a PNG, so I'm going to turn off the background. Save a copy as a PNG. And then this would technically be 4. And then I'm going to go ahead, final step is make this into an all over. So you get how to do that from a 13 by 19. Now this particular one, I already started this one as an all over, so I just happen to have this these layers on right here, but you probably will not have these layers on, so I don't want you to focus on those layers, but I'm just letting you know that if I happen to have them on there, you can probably turn them on, but I'm going to pretend like I don't. Right? And the idea here is that I want to bring this over onto my free all over template. Okay, so let me find that. I believe it's my 21M free template. I'm trying to figure out what folder I have it in. Alright, free. That's the youth one. I need the adult one. Y'all, I have so many files. Sometimes it's easy for me to remake something than find it most times. Or to search my Google Drive online, because searching my computer is almost impossible. Alright, so we need just the small to 3x. So this is what it looks like when you download it from innatelab.com or the Innate Academy version of the template. Simple. Alright, so I'm going to take everything, including my smart objects. Now you could just resize this, but because I want to make sure that the template stays intact for the bleed area and everything, I don't want to chance it. So I take all of this, and let me make sure I'm saving as I go, because I don't believe that I have been. So my easiest thing to do is to group everything. Control G. I have one big old group. So maybe I'll call this all art, right? And then I'm going to take this folder. I'm taking my move tool. Take this whole all art folder. Drag and drop it onto my big shirt, and you'll see that it is approximately, oh, it has a locked layer. Let me unlock. It's probably that darn t-shirt. There it is. I have to unlock it just to delete it. Let's see. Yeah, that's what it was. Alright, so now that I don't have a locked layer, let's do Control T. And I'm just making sure that my main image elements stay within this dotted line area. That's what's going to be important. And that I kind of get this to lock to the center there. I hit enter to lock in my transformation, but I am going to check and make sure that everything checks out. I don't have anything crazy hanging off. And then I go ahead and center things as well. Kind-hearted Keller, all of these classes are beginners classes, believe it or not. If you come to class and as long as you have Photoshop downloaded on your computer and you have followed the directions for the homework and you have the file downloaded and the fonts installed, I guarantee you whatever I just did just now, you will have completed by the end of class. It is very beginner friendly. I just make y'all's work look like it's not beginner work. But basically what you're doing is you're learning the concepts of Photoshop through the templates and through some of you're learning basic and advanced techniques at the very same time. And that way you don't get so discouraged when you do something like change the color of an apple and then you don't know what to do besides change the color of an apple. Like, what can you use that for? These are tools that as soon as you're done with class, you can absolutely sell this as a final product. Like, there's no doubt about that. Okay, so I'm going to open up my all art folder now and then go ahead and disable this background. So I'm going to disable that layer mask, and then I can see, ooh, that looks so pretty. Alright, but I also see where I could do a little fade off and that sort of thing. So let me make that happen. So let's go to my main image here, which is everything except for the background. So that's my back art and my front art, everything except for what's going on with the background. And I'm just going to make sure that it is good and centered here on my all over shirt. The photo can be a little off because it has that car in there, right? And you want that car to show. But what I don't want to show are these hard lines. Y'all know how I feel about these hard lines. And if you look here on the layer mask, it's because when I was doing this as a 13 by 19, it was hanging off of the mask, so it didn't matter. But now that it is showing, I'm going to correct that. Grab my brush here, and I have black loaded up. Black is going to conceal, and I'm just going to brush around real lightly right there. I even saw some hard lines up there. Y'all know I don't play that. There we have it. That is gorgeous. All right, so in order to kind of show this as an all over, let's take the guidelines off now. And I think that's beautiful. We might as well go to save a copy now, because if you've upgraded Photoshop, the save as doesn't do quite what the save a copy does. Well, you can't do save as anymore and save as a PNG or JPEG. You have to do save a copy. If you haven't noticed that, it's probably because you haven't upgraded Photoshop yet, and you might be lucky. Okay, now I need to save this as a Photoshop file, as the all over version. That's what I should have done first before I saved any variation. So now I have my all over of the same file name. So I have an all over version and a 13 by 19 version. So sometimes you'll develop, I actually suggest you do the all over version first, just because your graphics will be, you know, full resolution and everything. If you go design something in the 13 by 19 and then blow it up to all over, sometimes it will become more pixelated, noticeably so. Yeah, what gives the flowers that cartoonish look? Playing with the levels and the curves. And of course, you can play with that. And the more, basically, it makes the contrast between the shadows and the highlights really stark. And that's what gives it a cartoonish look. Alright, now I'm going to save as a copy and go on and save this as a PNG. Oh, I know what I did. I already saved it as a copy. So here we go. That's fine. Save as a copy. And I need to make sure that I do not save this over y'all's blank template. So let me do this. Say no, I didn't want to change my blanks. I didn't want to do that. Let's go ahead and open. Boom, boom, boom. My all over version. There it goes. And usually what I'll do is I'll make an all over version and a 13 by 19 version, because some people just are not into, and probably will never be into, doing these all overs, and that's fine. Although it's growing tremendously in popularity, so I would ask you to reconsider. I didn't think I would be doing all overs, but because of the popularity, I did start investing in first just buying all over prints. First I tiled them, and that is a lot of work. And then I started purchasing the all over size prints, so I can just worry about, you know, pressing in multiple presses rather than doing the tiling and pressing multiple presses. So now I have the large format printer. Of course, I have the conversion kit for that as well, if you are looking to convert your large format and your desktop printers to sublimation. But that has been a game changer. Alright, so I think I still have not saved a copy, or did I? I can't remember because I was talking. Nope, I didn't. Alright, so I'm saving that, and then I'm just going to kind of backtrack a little bit. You know what? I think I like this one better. I'm going to leave this one. So we'll have the remembrance version. I even have like a poem for the back for the remembrance version. See how it recolored as well? I'm telling y'all, these smart colors will change your life. Okay. All right, so I'm bringing my front art back, and this is ready for you all. Now, I'm not going to give you the all over version until we're done with class. So once we're done with class, I'll give you my mock-up and my all over version, just so that you have it. My whole goal is I don't want you to try to download a whole bunch of files. We're going to stick with the 13 by 19 file. You're going to work from there, and I will give you the extra resources after we're done with the class. All right, so that is good to go. I'm going to save this. And I can take questions now, because what I'm going to do now is go ahead and work on my mock-up. And I give you all my mock-up file for free. This is just me. I have to do a mock-up for every class. So this is my kind of time to take y'all's random questions, show you the academy, of course, and just kind of help walk you through some things. And I think this one I'm going to do 3 shirts, just because I want to show off the 13 by 19 versus the all over. And I want to show the versatility, being able to do the remembrance versus the 13 by 19. So let me pull up one of my, let's pull up the academy so I can see which mock-up will go for this one. academy.innatelab.com. And thank y'all for hanging out with me. I know it was late for some of y'all. Oh yes, I gotta give y'all some good news too. So we are going to be doing a workshop in Atlanta in August. I have to give you all a couple of options for August. It's either going to be August 14th or September 4th. Because the 28th I'm unavailable, and the 21st one of our teachers is going to be unavailable, and that's Q. She teaches how to do the cut and sew. So I like to be able to offer you all 2 days of workshop time. So we're going to do a Saturday and Sunday. We'll do one day will be the all over pressing. You'll learn all over, and it's going to be broken up into an A and a B session. So if you just want to learn the all over, you can come for the all over. If you just want to learn the sub and bling, of course doing the socks with the taco method, the license plate, and how this particular system works, that's going to be part B. So you have a part 1 of the day, which is about 4 hours, part 2 of the day, which is 4 hours. You can come the whole day, which ends up being literally a whole work day. So you end up there from 8 to 5. And then the next day we're going to have the cut and sew workshop. That's the full day, from 8 to 4 on Sunday. And then I will also have a session from 10 to 4 with people who just want to get more hands-on with just Photoshop. We're not going to be printing or pressing anything. It's just going to be intensive Photoshop. So for those of you who really don't feel like you can learn online and you need somewhere to physically be in order to receive help with Photoshop, we're going to have a dual session. So one side will be learning the cut and sew. The other side on Sunday will be learning intensive Photoshop. And even if you are already a intermediate Photoshop user and you just want additional help learning how to do something, I will be there to help you with that. The file that we're going to be working on is the one that I use for doing on-demand pop-up shops and that sort of thing. So it is a free template that walks you through quickly changing out designs. Okay, very quickly changing out designs so that you can focus on making more money and not getting tied up taking 2 hours to design one image. If you don't do any other file, if you don't do any other template, I'd highly advise you to learn that template, because you can make infinite design changes just changing out the background, the text, and the foreground photo. and that's what we focus on in that class. So I will have that uploaded for you all by this week. So I'm going to need you all to vote on which day in Atlanta y'all want us to come out. The 14th of August, which is right before like back to school, or September 4th. So just giving you that. But this is where you're going to find the class when I post it tonight. Let me see. I want to... I'm trying to figure out what mock-up I'm going to use for this one. I'll use mock-up from 131 because it has 2 all-overs and one 13 by 19. So I'm going to go grab my 131 mock-up. This is literally a file that you receive when you take the 131 course, but you'll also... Oh, I did the JPEG. I was supposed to do the Photoshop version. And like I said, I'll answer any random questions while I'm doing my mock-up session. And if you all have any input on what you want to start learning on these physical sessions, please let me know. I have some cool stuff coming up. We're going to learn to do like patches for caps and like jackets and that sort of thing. We did koozies this time in our pop-up shop, or our pop-up workshop. That was really fun. We did these t-shirt shaped koozies, license plate socks, and we did the bling t-shirt. So basically, when you tell me you want to learn something, even if I don't know it, I will either find someone to teach it to you, or more than likely I'll learn it well enough to teach it. And I take that very serious. Alright, so let's start with our mock-up. I'm going to go ahead and change out the all over ones first. So double click here. And see, this happens to be one of those ones that I did remembrance and love. So this would be a fitting template. And I'm going to go ahead and do this brightly colored one here. And my swatch is down there, but it shouldn't matter because that part is going to get cut off. Now what I have to do is I have to merge this, or flatten the image. I have to flatten the image in order to save the smart object when I close out. Yeah, it was so much fun. Like, I promise y'all, I have never been so excited to be so tired. Or so tired doing anything I was so excited to do. When I tell y'all that the energy that y'all bring matches the energy that I wish for you all to have, and the passion that I want to see you all exude in your businesses, it is very empowering. Not just for you all, it is empowering for us as well, because you being that eager to learn makes us eager to teach. And I can't express enough how this whole situation is very symbiotic. It means that I need you, you need me, and then we become dependent on one another to grow together, rather than one person uses another person, or one entity kind of uses another group or entity to feed off of. We literally grow one another. So it is a network, it is a community, and it really makes me excited to do this, because I don't know any other profession right now that somebody could pay me to do and I would be as satisfied with what I'm doing. Right now, this one, remember when I told y'all when you do the all overs to do the wallpaper version? I didn't do that this time. I was talking and I left my outline on. So let's see if this matches up. It should match up for my mock-up. And of course I have to right click and flatten the image. And I'm getting buku of messages from my international suppliers now. I guess they're up for the day. They kind of work opposite hours as us because they are 12 hours different there. Oh yeah, that looks good. Now I am going to move this image just a little bit. Let me unlink the neck there because I feel like I should be seeing a little bit more that always and forever. Alright, I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and link my neckline back on there. And then this one's just going to be the 13 by 19. So let's double click that one. And then let's pull in our black love image. Boom. And then I'm just going to kind of make it fit the existing area. I think that's good. And then of course I need to turn this one off. I can even delete it. And we can, you know what, for this one it's a PNG, so I don't want to flatten the image. And even if I did happen to flatten the image, I have the blend mode on multiply, so you would not have seen the white background. So I'll tell you, those blend modes, once you start playing with them and understanding the blend modes and the adjustments, your whole life changes. Alright, so I have my black love there, always and forever, and then our remembrance. I think this looks good. So let's go ahead and detail what we're going to do in the class. Of course, this is class number 140. This is the last class of the 1 year mark of starting the academy. So I want you all to be on the lookout for the special that we're going to do this week for all of the courses that we've done for this year. So from course number 101 to course number 140, we're going to be doing a very special flash sale deal to commemorate our first year, our anniversary of the academy. Our very first class, our 101 class. We have come a long way. We've come a long way in terms of what we've completed, but also me teaching. Like I've been able to make better templates, teach better, understand the content that you all need in order to grow your businesses, and you all have been definitely using these resources and making me proud. Alright, so we're going to do a smart color change. Of course, free template. We're going to modify these blend modes. And you'll see that these themes are kind of consistent because they're themes that you have to keep working on in order to really be great with Photoshop. But we're doing them in doses, and we're doing them in projects that give you a sense of completeness. Like, I can't tell you how when I was learning Photoshop, I literally would take a class that where I would do some random project that had nothing to do with anything that I would ever create, and then I would immediately after that class try to apply those same concepts to a real project I wanted to create, and it just didn't correlate. So I'm teaching a different way than I was taught. I want to teach you how to design something, how to use something that you can actually use right now, make money on right now, and be able to understand these concepts of Photoshop as you create work that you can sell at this very moment. What's printer size for the all over shirts? I have a 44-inch printer and a 36-inch printer. The 36-inch printer can pretty much do everything up to a 4X. And then if you need to do a 5X, you can tile just that little sliver of like a 4 or 6-inch piece by 36 inches just for the bottom of the shirt. And I rarely do 5Xs. I rarely even do 4X and 5X prints in general. So great question. But if you have the 44-inch printer, then usually I think the 5X is something like a 44 by 50. It might even be 44 by 54. I have to readjust my brain to be on the math side and not the art side. But that's why I say you have to tile just a little bit of that bottom of the 5X shirt if you have a 36-inch printer. But I encourage people, because the 36-inch printers actually were available more recently. The 44-inch ones have been on back order, and the prices of these printers keep going up. So I'm just encouraging you all, when you see them, if you have that within your budget and you do feel like you're ready to do all overs, when you see them, go ahead and hop on them, because they do not last long. Alright, so alright, so this is ready to go, and it even happens to work with the Wedding and Remembrance Smart Color template. There we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and change my colors here for this gradient. Go to my FX, gradient overlay. Click on that color stop. I'm going to choose the red here, the green there. And then for this text, I will choose the color overlay as probably the red. There we go. Alright. So that's my mock-up. So now I need to, while I was doing all of this, I should have done save as first. So I could have saved this as my 140 mock-up. When I tell y'all to do the save dance in class, like, really, I'm saying that for the both of us. Alright, 140 mock. My nephew even comes in the room and whispers save dance in my ear. Oh, Lord. Okay, so that is saved for you all. Like I said, I'm not going to give you the mock-up file, because we're not going to do the mock-up file in class, because if I give y'all something ahead of time, y'all be wanting to wear your girl out. And I said it was going to be a 2-hour class, so I guarantee you're going to get through the entire design here. You'll be able to ask questions. You'll be able to work with manipulating your colors, and you will get help manipulating those colors. Like if you don't know how to make that rose be a true red and you're struggling, then I'm going to be there to help you make that rose a true red. If you don't know how to resize your text or resize your image, I'm going to be there to help you resize your text and your image. So it is very, very, very much a beginner-friendly class. As a matter of fact, some of the intermediate folks and my more advanced folks may choose not to, even do the class, although we always do something advanced in class. Even my advanced folks will tell you that because it's beginner friendly does not mean they won't learn something in the class. So my advanced folks always learn something too. Then you're able to ask me questions. If you ever want to ask me questions, do so in the class. Okay, and hopefully it's pertaining to the class, because it's very, very rare that I have a chance to do one-on-ones, but this is pretty much like a one-on-one, where you get to show me your screen, I get to show you what's going wrong, and you get immediate aha moments. Okay. Alright, so I said I was going to save this. Let me save a copy. Nope, I got to export this one because it is for web. So export, save for web, tube 13. And I'm going to put this in my 140 folder. Boom. Alright, love, so I will take a little moment to collect my thoughts and my little brain cells. I will upload this as a class tonight. And we'll have this available tonight. You should be able to download it before. If you're going to take the class, you need to be able to download it before 7:30, because I'm going to shut it off, because I don't want people trying to download it like literally minutes before class, because it usually causes panic and then things aren't ready for class and then we're holding class up. Okay. So there we are. There's our 13 by 19. And then of course we were able to make an all over version of it as well. All right, y'all have any questions for me before I close this one out? Yeah, Designs by Renee. If you want to see it live, then come on to one of these workshops. I know there are people that learn different ways, and that's why I learn different ways. That's why I decided to teach a different way. So I can't teach every single style, but I guarantee you that I haven't had a person yet who has not been able to accomplish what we do in class. So if you can at least make it to the live virtual class, it will probably do you really well. I'm not gonna, just toot my own horn there. I'll let somebody else tell you that they never wanted to touch Photoshop in their lives, and they ended up becoming somewhat of a little expert now. So, and I'm sure we have plenty of those stories right here tonight. But I do want you to just be confident that I'm not going to let you slip through the cracks. I'm going to make sure that you make it to the end with a final product that you are proud of, that you can post on your social media, that you can post on your online store and be ready to sell. When you sign up for the Academy, great question. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Excuse me. I've been talking a little too long today. All right, so let me briefly go over what the membership is, and give you a disclaimer. You don't have to be a member to take a class, okay? The classes are $60 for the live class, and it's $30 for the pre-recorded. Basically, after we record it, if you want access to it, it's $30. It includes whatever template and mock-up files plus the class. If it's the live class, then you're getting the live class. If you are doing the pre-recorded, then you get to watch the video, and if you do the live class, you get a replay of the video as well. So just keep in mind, you don't have to have a membership. I never try to force anyone into that. However, the memberships were created to your benefit. I used to have people that would pay $60 per class 4 times a month, and that's because I was offering 4 classes a month. They would literally pay $60 every class. So what I did is I created a VIP membership for those folks. And I said, you know what, y'all are my ride or dies. Y'all are here every single class, making it do what it do. So I created a $60 membership where they essentially paid for 1 class, and the rest of the classes for that month were free. So for $60 a month now, if you are a VIP member, you will have access to any of the live classes that are part of the regular curriculum during any given month that you're a member, right? So the difference with the $30 membership is that you will have the ability to take those classes. You have a coupon code that you can use for 67% off of the live classes. And with each membership, you unlock classes every single week. So with the $30 and $60 membership, you're equally going to unlock classes as you go along. And I will tell you that you start off out the gate, your very first moment. So within 0 seconds of you signing up for one of these memberships, either the $30 or the $60 VIP, you end up getting course number 101 to 104 immediately, okay? And let me show you what those courses are. Here we go. So 101, 102, 103, and 104. And then what happens is 7 days later, you unlock 105. 14 days later, you unlock 106. So basically, as long as you're a member, all these classes will unlock for free. As long as you're a member, the longer you stay a member. However, if you want to unlock something early, then there's an opportunity for you to use whatever coupon code you have. VIP members get 75% off, and the standard members get 67% off. But instead of, let's say you wanted to start on your Christmas stuff and you wanted this template and then access to this class, you would be paying less than $10 if you are a $30 member, and you'll be paying what, $7.50 if you are a VIP member. All right, so you can access them early with a fee. And then if you don't, like you're just here to learn, you're not necessarily sure if you're going to be using an exact template, then you just let it go as natural course, and you will learn something every single week. I know, for instance, 125 was a big one for a lot of folks. because it simultaneously designs the t-shirts and the graduation stole. So a lot of people chose to purchase that one with early access and use their coupon code so that they weren't paying $30 for this class. So there are definitely some perks to the memberships. And as you can see, we do projects that you can use right now. Like, there's not a project on here that I feel like anybody would have wasted any time or energy on. Even if it's not your style of design, what we do in the class, what we learn in the class, the things that, the approach to the class are all things that you can use for any end product that you're interested in designing. So you may not like football at all. So this particular class, you know what, if it's football, I don't like it, but I guarantee if you were to take that class, you will learn that we did skin color changes, we did updating the logos, we did recoloring the background, all of those things that are still applicable in any other type of project you might do. All right, so just filling you in on that, giving you my little spiel about what the Academy is, what the value of it is. The cost of it is one thing, $30 and $60 a month. I really went out of my way to make this extremely affordable so that people had tools at their disposal that they can make money. Like, if you spent $30 this month, you would be able to make that easily in 1 week if you just did a variation of each of these 4 classes. You don't even have to wait for 105 to unlock. If you did a variation of each one of these designs and put it on your social media, I guarantee you would have $30 worth of projects lined up in your inbox. Yes, Helena, one year has flown by. It really has. So to start, to answer your question, where do you sign up to start? It really depends on what you want out of the Academy. My suggestion is if you only take one live class a month, then the $30 a month option is your best solution, because you're going to have access to the pre-recorded classes as they unlock. And if you should want to take a live class, you use your 67% off coupon code and you'll be able to take that live class at under $20, right? If you are considering taking more than one, let's say you want to take all the live classes you can possibly take, and we have members that do that, and they are what I call my OGs. My OGs are there almost every single time I answer, or every time I offer a class, and they tend to be the ones that know how the templates work, who can help other people and answer their questions. So I know that it is teaching them, very, very much from the beginning, and very complicated concepts that maybe sometimes they don't even recognize they know these complicated concepts in Photoshop. But anyhow, I digress. If you are interested in taking at least 2 or more of the live courses, then the $60 a month option is your best deal, because you get 75% off of any template that you want to unlock early. You get to take all 4 of the classes that I teach for the month, and usually I'm teaching these classes on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you just can't make those live classes, then what you have to think about is, well, how often am I going to be unlocking courses early? If I'm not going to be unlocking courses early, then that $30 a month option is a really, really good deal. Okay, my templates that I sell on the regular website, we have the Innate Lab website, which is separate from the Academy. Those are they're $20 just for the template only. It doesn't have the teaching component. It doesn't come with the mock-ups. And of course, it doesn't come with the ease of me teaching every single week. So I'm breaking down templates, making them easier, making the classes things that basically are easier as we go, like with the smart colors. All right, so just keep that in mind. Whatever works best for you, I can give you my best recommendation based on 1 live class a month or less, 2 live classes or more. This one, the $60 one, will be best for you. All right, loves. Well, my throat is getting dry I think I need to take a little break. I've been talking all weekend and I appreciate you all. I have some really dope news for you all, and I'm gonna give you a little hint tonight for those who are here. Um, we have a little place right now to do our workshops in Jacksonville, and it won't be like a brick and mortar per se. It will be a place where people can come to get prints, ink, that sort of thing, and train. So it's going to be more or less a training facility, light manufacturing. We will do some, some customer work, but more than likely it's based on business to business, helping you all grow your businesses. So we'll be revealing that space this week and showing you the exciting things to come. We're working with Heat Transfer Warehouse on doing part of our all over tour. Is going to be working with them and getting some of their folks who have the sawgrass printers up to par on how to do the all over prints and just sublimation workshop in general. So that, like that, when I tell y'all that I've been on the grind, I promise y'all it's not because I'm being lazy and sleepy. I am really working on some things for you all for the better of the entire group. All right, so just giving y'all a little insight so y'all know a little bit more than anybody else at this point. But I will give y'all some pictures and even some video. I'll go in there, talk about the process of looking for your retail space, your industrial space, if you're doing pop-up shops, that sort of thing. We're going to start getting more into that content because yes, the Photoshop is important, but I'm learning that you all also are wanting more information and confidence building when it comes to business concepts, pop-up shops. Do you want to have a brick and mortar? Do you want to strictly do online orders? That sort of thing. So I'm excited to be able to offer you my experience and my 2 cents on that. All right. Thank you. Thank you. We're working on it. Y'all are part of this. All right. So with that said, I'm gonna cut out for tonight. I'm getting ready for to upload this class for tonight, and I'm also getting the next workshop together. So if you thought that that we were having fun here, we're gonna keep the fun going. All right, and thank you. I appreciate the congratulations, and you all will be a part of this entire process and journey, okay? And of course, that'll be another module for the Academy now. Y'all think about this. Now we're on to getting into concepts of building brand, building the actual business, like literally from the ground up. So let me know what things you're scared of. I learned today that a lot of you have never done pop-up shops. Not saying that you're afraid of them. Some people did literally say they're afraid of them. But just because you kind of don't know pop-up shops, like where to go to even look up where those opportunities are. But in addition to that, you're kind of scared, and I was too, to bring stuff already printed and not know if it's going to sell. That is always an issue for anyone that just sells in person in general, any brand that does that. So now I'm going to take all of those fears, y'all. I told y'all my goal is not necessarily to teach everybody how to make t-shirts. The goal is to encourage and build confidence, because once you have confidence in one thing, you have mastery and confidence in one thing in life, it spills over into anything that you think you want to do. And so if I can build a little bit of confidence in something that you thought maybe was too difficult, like Photoshop, right? If I can build a little bit of confidence there, I know that confidence will spill over into other areas of your life, and it will help you be more successful and well-rounded in anything that you want to do. All right, so that was my little motivational kick for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go, and I will see you tomorrow in class, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That class will be right here for the live courses when I do drop it. So y'all be on the lookout for that, okay? I know y'all will, because y'all will be in Erica's inbox asking if it's ready. But I got y'all, okay? So I just want to tell y'all I love y'all for real. I appreciate you dearly, and y'all know what it is. Until next time, bye.